wires everywhere. Everywhere there's wires. Wherever there's wires, there's more wires. Cave Dweller, observe. Observe, Cave Dweller. Patreon. Change the way art is valued. Let your most passionate fans support your creative work via monthly membership. That's you, Cave Dweller. Hit this button right here. It says Get Started. Patreon.com. Find a creator. Let's type in the Skrauss. Right there, the Skrauss video comics, painting and podcasting. There I am. There I am with my arms raised in the air, raised in deference to you. Surrounding me are all my heroes. I should show you that picture sometime. It's pretty great. Select the membership level. $1 you can join. $5 you can be a spear maker. $10 a month you can be a keeper of fire. And that, whoops. I almost shut us off. We don't want to do that because we are just starting. We're just starting, Cave Dweller. And I am here. And you are there. And together, we are all together. And we are family. I am a family of one. You are someone else's family. I don't know whose. I'm actually not a fan of family, having grown up in a piss-poor one. Cave Dweller. This is where we are. It is high noon. When the clock ticking gets to here, we'll do some current events. When it gets to here, there will be an anime review, and when it gets to here, we're going to wrap things up because I have 15 minutes to shut my mouth, and it usually takes that long. All right. So we'll put the clock right here where everybody can see it. Right back next to the mannequin of awesomeness. Back when they made boobs that were less realistic than realistic boobs on these mannequins. You can see these heads have no boobs. Boobs! Everybody, we all love them, but we don't know why. They're weird, strange, floppy appendages. Why? Why? I don't know. It's some kind of mutation, I think. Team Cave Dweller. Oh, let's light off the affectations. All hail Yeshua Legua. Please open the gates for us, and Saint Expedite, expeditiously help us eliminate procrastination and attain our goals today. Senora Guadalupe, thank you for these gifts we are about to enjoy, and your graciousness, and whatever it is that you wanted from the humanity when you had us build that temple and you created the shroud out of flower juice. Psychopomp, help us. Team Cave Dweller, this is kombucha. It is more vinegar than kombucha, so I put a bunch of honey in it to make it palatable. Last time, I just drank all of it, and it was pretty sour. Okay, that's not bad. It's still sour, but the honey adds some sweetness. So it is sour sweet. Sweet and sour, some might say. I used to just pour it on a hamburger. This, excuse me, is a painting. This is a painting, and oh, let's line this up. There we go. That's more like it. That's how things go. That's how we do things at the Scrap House Global. I mean, the Skrauss Global. Cave Dweller, I'm late. Today is the time when I would normally be wrapping up the episode of the Skrauss Live, but I'm just starting. I met some people that I haven't seen in almost 20 years, and we chatted like it was old times. And then I had to go and haul some stuff to Goodwill, and in between there was a lot of chatting. There was more chatting. It was a chatty day. And I arrived on the scene late because at one of the churches where I'm the sexton, we had to tear a porch apart. So it's been a thorough day for me, Cave Dweller. The saints are activated. Let's continue with this painting, or better yet, let's start a new painting. That's how I roll, Cave Dweller. Rather than continuing, I just start a new one. But no, let's not. I've just decided that I'm not going to start a new one because I'm going to continue with this one and see if I can turn it into something awesome before I get too carried away with being crazed about being overwhelmed. But I'm going to dodge putting any work and effort into this painting right now because it's intimidating me by drinking this kombucha. Thank you, Cave Dweller. I encourage you to also drink something. Wow, that is so sour it burns the back of my throat. Homemade! Made by hose. Now, I'm going to add color to this car. Let's make it red. I'm going to use quinacridone red light due to its transparency. You can see here as I squirt it on the palette. Ooh la la. You know, I'm going to give you a better view of things here. Let's adjust this. That's a little bit better, but it's not the best. Hey, let's do this. Whoops. It's not something. All right, we want to activate the tilt mode. There we go. That's better. Now you get the whole thing in whole thing action. Is that good enough for you? There we go, team. You see, now this is my palette. These are my handy pliers. I use them for everything. This is a palette knife. This is almost the only brush I ever use. This size. It's a 1-inch brush. Dip it in some water. This is what we call layers. We, in the business of painting, call this layers, Cave Dweller, because I am layering these colors. This is a common way to build up color. Start with gray, different shades of gray, and then just go over the top of them with the color that you want the subject to be, and the gray takes care of all the shades and hues, turns the changes of hue in between. Now maybe you'll be like, that just looks like gray with red on top. But tomorrow when we come come back to look at this will be like, whoa, look at all those different shades of red. How did he do it? The Skrauss is some kind of genius. Truth be told, I am a genius, but not some kind of genius. I'm the kind of genius that is only accidental. I'm an accidental genius. This is the way we do things at the Skrauss Global. Don't forget to like, comment, share. If you have any questions, just continue to ask them. Last episode, we had some visitors, and they had some great questions about the aesthetic of half-assery and anime. We learned, thanks to them being there, thanks to my guests being there. One guest commented that anime is epic, and I had a great riff about why anime is epic and how its epicness makes it better and more interesting than American cartoons, American animation, or even European animation, or Middle Eastern animation. I've seen many Middle Eastern cartoons and comics, and they leave me cold. The Japanese discovered comics during the World War II. They already had their own, illustrated texts, and the word manga was invented in the 1700s by Hokusai, a printmaker. It means lighthearted picture. That's the exact same thing that comics means in a literal translation. Of course, there's lots of other baggage we put on that. It's not just a picture. I mean, it has the narrative, and often there's word balloons or captions. All right, I think that's going places. I'm going to add black or brown to his hair. Let's make it brown. For brown, I'm going to use burnt umber. This is no name brand burnt umber. Okay. Wow. I don't know what it is with this tube. It's just, it got all twisty on me, and the cap sticks. I haven't been able to figure out why. I tried cleaning it once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze some of this juice up to the tip of the thing. Roll this up. Pinch it. Maybe that'll keep things together now. We'll find out. Favorite brush? Hair. Okay, that takes care of that. Cave dweller painting is so much fun. Now I'm going to put this aside because I don't want to look at it, because I know it's okay, but it's not awesome. I mean, it's not awesome yet. Maybe eventually it'll be awesome. These paintings are a little bit difficult for you to see, aren't they? They're so far away. I even pulled the easel closer. This is actually designed for a setup for a painting this size. Okay, for this painting, what I want to do is I want to combine these images. The lighting is weird in here because there's a strong sunbeam shooting through a window and it's putting shadows. But you can see the guy, he's on a train, he's smoking a cigarette, and he's looking, when I put these together, he's looking at this guy here, punch this guy in the stomach. I know, that's really hard to see. I apologize. Let's do this. There we go. Now can you make it out? That's a little bit better, right? So I'm gonna collage. I'm a collage these together. That was a southern accent, not a black accent. Southern accent. Now, then I love these paintings, this series of paintings. It's an advertisement I took out of a National Geographic that was published in this era. The era where everybody was excited about color TV, and it was a giant console made out of wood. And this is what they watched. Bonanza. Do you remember Bonanza? Maybe you've seen it on old-timey TV show channel. I never watched it. I'm using a Sharpie to draw these images on so I know where the color goes. But here it is. Usually I prefer pastel or charcoal, and then I go over it with magic sauce, and it smears the charcoal or pastel, and it gives me a nice bleed of color while retaining the line. I don't like Sharpie, but we're doing it. This guy, because I just happen to have it and I don't have any pastel on me. You know, it's almost time for current events. Wait one. So instead of this guy, I'm going to use Montgomery Blanc. Montgomery Blanc smokes. Now that we're in a post-smoking society, it almost doesn't even make any sense to have any character smoke. But it used to be understood that smoking was just social elegance. It's like the opposite thing in real life. In real life, smoking is this noxious, choking miasma that just gets in your clothes and makes you stink, and it makes you cough and choke. It used to be elegant. It's all marketing. So the marketing people, the mind control conspiracy suckers of Madison assholes of Madison Avenue, arseholes, excuse me, I'm trying to be polite for the children, arseholes of Madison Avenue have convinced us that smoking is elegant, and therefore we believe it, even though the obvious physical signs are that it's inelegant and horrible. And yet I'm going to go to a sweat lodge next week in which I'll be locked in a blazing hot teepee full of smoke. Tobacco is the king of herbs, apparently. Everything that you think and say while smoking goes directly to God. Madison Avenue perverted it and turned it into something elegant. And meanwhile, nobody enjoys it. It's not fun. Anyway, there's that guy. Now, on this side, I'm going to draw the guys fighting. Oh, let's talk about current events. It's time for current events. Currently, we are still, it is the 13th of June, 2020. Team Cave Dweller, and lockdown is being lifted. People are going out and doing things again. People are getting over their fear of pandemic, which is fake, and according to me, according to things that I've been hearing and makes sense, no evidence. Well, we'll get to that. But there's larger things at stake. There's now rioting and looting and burning and killing going on. Killing? Beating? Probably beating. Not so much in the Midwest, but in loony basket towns like Portland and Seattle. I agree with the bumper sticker that says, "Make Seattle shitty again." Hopefully, this will get them back there. Cause all those computer jerks that are hyperinflating real estate and the cost of living, get them out of our beautiful, lovely towns. And let the working class move back in again. Of course, the working class knows nothing about art, hates art, and despises anything not practical, not sports related. Here's something that I want to talk to you about. Why do we worship sports? Why does anybody even watch sports? And why is it so blue collar that every blue collar schmo has to watch football every Sunday? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't see the attraction. I never have. Football just makes me depressed because it reminds me of winter and going to school. And everybody watching football and me not being like getting it at all. No interest whatsoever. And here it is. It's this thing that everybody's doing and talking about and loving, and I can't even sit long enough to watch it. I don't understand. You tell me. Tell me why we do that and why we've been programmed to love it. It's not even a fun game. Most of the time you just spend standing around. Here's a fun game. Aussie rules football. It's non-stop action. Back and forth across the field, guys running over each other. It's the best. Now that's a sport you can watch. Lockdown's being lifted. People are getting over their fear. Turns out that hospitals are being incentivized to diagnose and list cause of death as COVID-19. They're being given more money if they do this. I learned today that germ theory, the germ theory of getting sick, is only a theory, and it's never really been proven. It's only been accepted. And because it's been accepted and we believe it so strongly, other theories have not been considered or even looked into. So I'm going to consider and look into these other theories because if there's a doubt, because, well, one reason we produce tons of products to kill germs, which includes bacteria. And all bacteria are good for us. They're beneficial. And sometimes they act up, like when we take antibiotics and they make us sicker. This is one thing I learned. Your body rejuvenates cells, and these, by rejuvenating cells and eliminating organs cell by cell and rebuilding, it causes symptoms. And when we try to regulate the symptoms, we prevent our body from renewing itself. And so it comes back stronger next year. We regulate symptoms with antibiotics. We kill our microbiome. Our microbiome is what makes us function, Cave Dweller. In fact, our microbiome is probably most of our personality. There's so much we don't even know about our own body, and we're going around talking about how we know everything, and we won't even accept the idea that what we might know, we don't know. For instance, germ theory. Incidentally, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a parapolitical enthusiast. And that's all the current events that I'm talking about today. Let's get back to the awesomeness of this painting. That's why you're tuning in. You're not tuning in to hear me rant. You're tuning in for a good fight scene, a punch in the gut. Now let's do it. This is a guy getting punched in the gut. I guess he's got fringe, cowboy fringe. He's wearing chaps. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Vest. He's got a face, an ear, it's kind of wavy hair, do. guy looks like the sailor from Tintin. Okay, so boosh. Punch in the gut. He's just wearing a shirt. All right, so there it is, blocked in, Team Cave Dweller. Can you make that out? I'll bring it up closer. Bam! There it is. Oh, dang it, we got the weird light. Okay, so you can see. Maybe you can't see. Okay, well, I'll bring it up this way. Guy getting punched in the gut. Montgomery Blanc looks on. Let's paint it in. Let's color it. So, in honor of the sick. I just put my finger in wet paint. I hate that. In honor of the controversial world of skin tone politics, let's use the most off-whitest of browns. Interesting thing on America's propaganda network, NPR, they did a piece by a minister who gave a sermon saying he's not going to talk about race. He says it's counterproductive. There's only one race, he says, the human race. And they immediately followed this up with some southern hillbilly kooks who are on a treasure hunt. I thought, well, what an interesting juxtaposition. Anything that provides a way out of their forced narrative, they mock. Good old NPR. National Propaganda Radio. Made legal by Barack Obama. Not that it needed to be made illegal. I mean, they've been doing it for years, right? Lying to us. Making us believe things. Look at Captain America. World War II propaganda. Okay. Got these two brown. So I gotta add some white. And this happens to be wet on wet. Therefore, it's blending pretty well. Now these guys, I'll just make with the color that's on the brush. It's pretty funny when I ran into my former pals from a church that excommunicated me. They, of course, they remembered me immediately, and they were happy to see me. And they're like, "Oh, Skrauss, we talk about you periodically still." It's always nice to be remembered. Got a big old Popeye on him. He's got a face right here, as we discussed. His face. Okay, so then, Blanc is sitting in a chair. In front of his desk. What does he have on his desk? He's got, I don't know, but behind it is a window. Two guys locked in combat. Is there anything more awesome than two guys locked in combat? Mortal combat? It reminds me of the episode from Star Trek where one guy had, no wait, it was a guy who looked identical. He was an identical twin because it was himself who got split in half, good half and an evil half, and he was locked in combat for all of eternity. In a subspace bubble. And if they ever escaped the subspace bubble, the universe would annihilate. Let's make these walls baby blue, baby. Mixing a little of that skin tone in with this blue lighting. That's going to be my next thing. So I got two cameras going. We're getting awesomer and awesomer every day. Well, every month we're getting awesomer and awesomer. It'll only be a matter of months now until I get better lighting. Okay, here we go. Baby blue, baby. Okay, well that's too dark. So we're going to add some water to give it some viscosity so I can smear it around a little. Way too dark. Well, that's the way it happens. Sometimes. Sometimes. How many songs? I know of two songs that have the word sometimes dramatically. The one, Sometimes, by Max Q, and then there's Blind Willie Johnson, I Just Can't Keep From Crying, Sometimes. Blind Willie Johnson, one of the greatest musicians in America, died in the 60s. Proto rock and roll. Delta Blues. Blind Willie Johnson. Alright, so we got that. We give this guy, I'm going to give this guy his black hair, which when I say black hair, I mean blue highlights for the black hair that's going in later. Same color as the wall. We'll just say it's because it's reflecting the wall. Really, it's just because I had it on my palette. All you know, cave dweller, is what you are told. Not one of you or us or me is performing experiments with test tubes, chemicals, beakers, and blood. And we trust the sources that give us our information. And we shouldn't. When did they start lying to us, I wonder? Misinformation goes all the way back, and it's not always deliberate. Sometimes it's accidental. For instance, the Copernican model of the universe is heliocentric, yet the universe is not heliocentric. The solar system is heliocentric. The universe doesn't revolve around our sun. And that's just the beginning of the misunderstandings. Okay, let's make this desk color. This chair has wooden legs. The top of the desk is black as night. Oh, let's try in Van Dyke red. Maybe the top of the desk is Van Dyke red. Here's what Van Dyke Red looks on my palette. Blip. Can't even see that. Van Dyke Red. I like it. I'm blocking in these colors in a sloppy manner. That is, I'm not trying too hard to stay within the lines. And the reason for that is because overlapping color is awesome. It adds a layered effect which shows a psychological depth, a visual depth of visual interest that I like to encourage my painting to develop. Now, because there's a reflection in this window, and in the comic book, he's got a green shirt, so we'll just reproduce that, even though you almost never see a guy with a green shirt in the business world, or in the world. This is what green looks like on my palette. Put it over here. Someday I will have a clean palette, so you can actually see what's going on. But it's better for you to see my hands move as I look, instead of watching my head look down as I talk. Titanium white. No name brand, titanium white. Add that to there because we don't want it to be super green. In fact, we want it to be mint green. In fact, when I say me, I mean I. And I want it to be mint. Ooh, let's add some red too because I'll make it. Do I have any? Okay, I'm going to add some of this. I'm adding some of this burnt sienna because I want it to be a subdued red. And you see already how bright that white is, but as the red mixes in, it turns grayer, and that is what I want. Alright, that's my brush. Hey, don't you know, my name is the Skrauss. Everybody can find me on Patreon. Hey, don't you know, my name is the Skrauss, where you can give me money. Money, it's what I want. Money can buy the birds and the bees, but none of them are free because money is coming towards me at a high velocity. And that's why we're all poor. Because money is moving in too fast, and then we duck. It's self-sabotage. Whoops. The trouble with writing notes on a napkin is that often the napkin ends up looking like this. And then you throw it in a pile of other napkins, and you lose it. Well, Team Cave Dweller, it's that time. It is this time. It's time when I'm going to talk about my 14th most beloved subject, anime. And I'm finished Dragon Riders, which is actually not called Dragon Riders. It's called Hisune and Masutan. Hisune to Masutan. To being and. Hisune to Masutan. It's actually the name of the show. But it's translated as Dragon Riders, which is dumb! Just like every frickin' American-ism. Why do they mistranslate things? Just call it Hisune and Masutan. These are the names of the two characters. I highly recommend that anime. But I am now watching a thing. I love it because of the subtlety and the unexpected surprises, turns of character and turns of plot, and the decisions the characters make and the reactions that they have. It's absolutely delightful. Now, I'm watching another one called something ga kill. Ga kill. Something ga kill. I can't remember. But it's not kill la kill. That's a different one. This is a newer one. It's something ga kill. It's about a corrupt empire run by a minister. Run by a minister. He's running the prince of the emperor of the empire as a puppet because he's a little kid. And they're trying to maintain this, and they're very brutal, and they treat poor people, the people in the country, as less than human. The aristocrats do. And there's a band of assassins that are out to destroy them and kill them all and and bring about a benevolent revolution. The main characters are the assassins. Particularly one who is a hick who comes to the big city to become a soldier. And then he finds out that, watch out for the assassins. They're so evil, and they're on wanted posters. By the end of the episode, the first episode, he's one of them. He's one of the assassins. Basically because some people that took him in when he was down and out were going to torture him to death. And he finds out that they tortured his two buddies to death, too, that he moved into the town with. Anyway, so he beheads her. This show is great. It's full of blood and guts and actual consequences to actions, actual developments. Characters actually die. Main characters actually get killed, which is something you don't typically see in something that involves hand-to-hand deadly combat. You only see the antagonists die. Well, here the protagonists die. And it's great. I love it. It's a little bit more natural, and it's somewhat surprising. The thing I like about this anime is that the Empire raises up a group of super highly qualified combatants, and they call them Jägers, hunters, German for hunter. And the hunter's job is to find night ride, I forgot the band of assassins, and destroy them. And yet, all the characters in the Jaegers are so much fun, and they're great, and I love them all. They're developed in a way that makes them all lovable. So you have these two groups that you both love. Obviously, you're with you. I'm rooting for the first group that I was introduced to, who's suffered 2 losses. Right? Actually, that's ingenious, isn't it? It's the first group you encounter. 2 members die tragically, so you're rooting for them because now they're the underdog. They're struggling. And I'm enjoying watching it develop. The kid, the hick, comes in. He's growing in power. He's getting better and better. And another twist is that while they're developing the enemies, the antagonists, in a lovable manner, the leader of the antagonists decides it's time for her to fall in love. And she picks at random, well, not at random, in a gladiatorial combat, she doesn't know who he is, the main character, the hillbilly that joined the League of Assassins. And she kidnaps him. She just takes him and makes him live with her. He's her boyfriend now, and she's in love with him. He escapes, but yet she's still looking for him and still in love with him, and she wants to be in love. Quite a twist. Makes for an interesting ride. This is a non-Netflix sponsored show. This is an actual just imported show by Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix. So that means it's got 25 episodes in a season rather than half that. I recommend it. I recommend almost any anime on Netflix. Almost any anime. They're just delightful. Oh, this one I wanted to tell you. It has moments of subtlety, but it also has moments of over-the-topness. So you'll see people's faces distort to show emotion, and you'll see the giant bead of sweat when they're nervous, even on the back of their head. You'll see them condense into a super cute simplification so that they can do over-the-top emotions where they're jumping up and down and water's squirting out the sides of their eyes because they're crying so hard because they're upset. I enjoy that characterized emotion, but I also like the subtlety of emotion that you would see in Beast Stars, for instance, where they do it with animals of all things. It's ingenious. Just the small movements of a face. Here's one moment in Akame. I think it's called Akame ga Kill. and a commie got killed. And the antagonist in the group, the Jaegers, there's a moment where one of the guys comes and he's going to do something really great for a girl on his team, and it turns out that the leader of the team, also a woman, is embracing her, because the girl feels bad. And he stops. He's like, he lost his moment, and he can't do it now. He's just been overruled or shut down, and a girl comes up behind him and puts her hand on his shoulder, emphasizing how pathetic he is. He wants to show concern, and somebody has to show concern for him. It's great. It's comic. It's so subtle. And yet, and then they can go to these over-the-top things where their faces are distorting, tears are shooting out. It's not even a projectile tear like you would see in a Popeye comic strip. It's like gushing water. It's so great. I love anime and manga. Anyway, let's get back to our painting. That review took almost 15 minutes. I'm sorry. In the edit, it will take 15 seconds. So we got some colors going. And let's keep this in a palette of blue, even though all right, we see the actual comic gives him an orange vest on top of blue sleeves, and his pants are just a lighter. His pants are actually the same color, but this is overlaid over black, so it looks darker. Let's do that. I'm going to give him a black shirt, and then I'll overlay it with blue, the same color blue as his pants. Let's see what happens. We'll see if I can remember this when I come back to the painting, because I'm going to have to let this dry in between. I should have done this before I started running my mouth about anime, but it's just so exciting. All right, here we go. My goal is to keep everything in the blue family. Because in this other painting, like you can see here where there's every color under the rainbow, I want to minimize that. Okay, so how are these pants work? These pants, wait, no, the pants don't. It's his other shirt gets it. I mean his other shirt sleeve, not his other shirt. He doesn't have a whole full wardrobe here. Just one set of clothes. Okay. That's that. Give this guy a belt. Okay, what the hey? Let's give Blanc some black too. Give him a lighter black, which is to say, gray. He's holding a pamphlet there. And now I will put in the orange vest, and I'm going to use quinacridone red light, same color as the car that we just saw. I wonder if that kid leaning up against the car is one of these guys. We could say that it is. This is why I don't like using Sharpie. I use a transparent color over it, and it just looks like a weird Scott Adams line. I don't like that at all. I'm gonna have to bring in my pastels, or I could just use a pencil. I don't know. Pencil at least would be gray. His hat flew off. All right. right, in a blue chair, I'll make the chair blue to match the walls. I should probably make the carpet kind of blue too. So, whoops, I didn't want to use phthalo. I accidentally picked phthalo. I'm looking actually for, this is goddess blue. I don't want to use that. That's too, well, okay, let's use it. Squirting it right on top of the phthalo. Mixing blue with blue. It sounds like I'm not doing anything, but I am actually doing something. I'm mixing ultramarine blue, or goddess blue, used to be so vibrant that this is, and it doesn't look like this. This is a mixture of two blues. That they reserved it only for Virgin Mary. White. But as you can see, as depicted in this candle, some virgins of Mary do not like blue. Although she actually is blue on the original. I don't know why that candle made her green. I didn't want to buy that candle because she has. I just assumed she has dark blue. I needed a dark blue candle. Why did they put it make it pink? These people aren't paying attention to the colors of the gods. Colors of the gods. What color is your patron saint? What is your patron saint's color? I ask you. Okay, so here's the. How does this work here? How does this work? It's like this. Okay. Look at that, it's dry. So, now I'm ready to... Well, I'm going to just add this magic sauce and then we're going to wrap it up. The magic sauce is also known as glazing fluid. Add some here. It makes colors. You can use it to make a glaze. So I'm going to use this little bit of blue, wipe some of that off, and add the magic sauce to it. And it becomes, I shouldn't have wiped it off, okay. And it becomes transparent. And I apply it to the black. And voila, it's too transparent. If it was less transparent, the black would look blue. Maybe it will. Let's see when I come back to this tomorrow. Blonde here as well. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to hit the transfer. So there it is. There you have it. You can see I've brushed in. Here, let's put it down here. I've brushed in blue over this, over the black that I put in there, so it shows up in highlights. It looks bluish. Maybe it's hard to see on the screen because I can see some of it there. See it better on Blanc, where I painted his suit gray and I just went over with black. So that is the advantage of layers and transparency. And you saw it on the car, you saw it on there. But how does this car look? How is it holding up? Not bad, eh? Maybe it looks a little brown to you, but... Okay, so there it is. We are done. We are kaput. We are goners, Cave Dweller, and I want to thank you for being here with me today. Because without you, I wouldn't engage in my favorite thing in the world, which is making things up. I would just be running around like a chicken with no brains. Like somebody had put its head in a clamp, sawed off its skull, and ate its brains with a spoon, like they do with monkeys. And then released it into the wild with a little robot in its skull, and its skull stitched shut. That's what I would be doing. Have you ever seen a chicken run from tree to tree and try to brachiate with the monkeys? It doesn't work. They do not have prehensile tails. Cave Dweller, this is the Skrauss signing off. And remember, the next time somebody tries to tell you to believe something they say just because they say it and they're scientists, always go to the original documents, which are incomprehensible and almost impossible to find.